on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you know. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. So let's get right into it. This is what I believe the best handgun caliber is and why. So this is going to be either a very controversial statement to some of y'all or a very, yeah, I agree statement with some of y'all. I'm sure a lot of y'all will agree with me. I'm sure a lot of y'all won't. Just make sure the microphone's on because knowing my luck, it'll turn off mid-video. But regardless, what my belief the best handgun caliber is 9mm, otherwise known as 9mm Luger, 9x19, 9mm Parabellum. And I'm going to go into a couple of reasons why. So, for starters, I know a lot of people, especially the thugs, they want to sit there and they want to be like, oh, well, 9mm, it doesn't have enough power to it. It doesn't have enough, it's not going to stop somebody. I mean, one, let's ignore the mythical legend of the 45 ACP that'll kill your soul. Let's ignore that mythical legend, and it's kind of funny because, saying mythical and legend at once kind of seems contradictory, but it's exactly that. It's a myth and a legend at the same time because it's a legendary ass myth. But regardless, all right. 9mm does have more than enough capability. I know there are some people who would disagree. They would bring up several instances in law enforcement that would, disagree. For example, I believe it is I believe it's called the Miami shootout, something along those lines, where these bank robbers, long story short, I'm not even going to get into all of it again because I went into it on other videos on my channel. It's what led to the 40 Smith & Wesson and the 10mm being created. So regardless, I'm sure some of those people are going to point to that situation in particular and be like, yeah, this is why 9mm is not strong enough. But here's where I would disagree. That was back in the 80s, I believe. It was either the 80s or the 90s. It's one of the two. Very much so a long, long while ago. We're talking 3 to 4 decades ago, almost half a century. And I know that sounds like a crazy remark when you think about it. It makes you feel old. I feel the same way. You know what I mean? For those of y'all who don't know, I was born in 01. You know what I mean? So, obviously some of y'all who watch me are much older than me, and I appreciate you guys for taking time out of your day to watch me. But, I'm a young guy, and I still for sure think that the fact that, the 80s is almost half a century ago is crazy. You know what I mean? I still think of it as 20 years ago because, I don't know. But regardless, getting off topic, my whole point is that throughout time, technology that has created ammunition has evolved and changed, and we've been able to create better ammo. We've been able to create much better self-defense ammo that essentially delivers more energy to be able to stop whatever it is that you need it to stop. Now, of course, there are limitations to it. I'm not saying if you're going out in bear country that you should take a 9mm with you or anything along those lines. But I am saying when it comes to what you are more likely than not to defend yourself on, based off where you are, of course, there are differences based off if you're living in more rural areas. But if you're living in more of, I guess, what would be called urban areas or maybe cities, whatever, 9mm will do you just fine. That is the truth of the matter here. And honestly, what a lot of people don't like to accept is the fact that it excels a lot of other calibers in several different ways. And I know there are some calibers that excel 9mm or do better than 9mm in some ways, but let's get into it, right? So, for example, this is my spare mag on me, like this spare mag on me. I keep a spare mag on me, but this is a spare mag I keep on me. This is a Taurus G3 mag. I keep a little sleeve on it as well. Should have showed y'all that. But 15 rounds right here. A pretty solid capacity, especially for a spare mag that's not a super large mag, pretty light, fits in my pocket, no problem. Nobody ever knows that I have a spare mag on me until I tell them, which, the only time I'm telling people I have a spare mag on me is when, me and my friends are joking around about what we're carrying. But regardless, my whole point is simply that the standard mag capacity for the gun I'm currently carrying, which is a Taurus G2C, 12 rounds plus one in the chamber, that's 13. For a smaller standard mag, that's a pretty solid capacity. Plus a spare mag of 15, that's 28 rounds right there. Now, I'm aware that, some other calibers may be able to match this with a spare mag. However, the point I'm getting at is that the gun I'm carrying is a compact. The original magazine size is for a compact gun. You get a much better capacity with 9mm than you do with a majority of with a majority of other calibers. That's just how it works. You get a great capacity out of it with the advancements in ammunition technology. It does the job that you would need it to do for a majority of situations, which makes having as many rounds on you as you can even better. That's what most people aren't understanding. Is a lot of people, they love to sit here and make the argument that, oh yeah, well, if you can't hit them in this many shots and you don't need a gun, you're just a bad shot. That's completely ridiculous. I'm actually going to make a video about that as well, but I'm not even going to get into that right now. I've never heard anybody say that they had too many rounds on them in a gunfight. I've never heard anybody even make the argument, oh, I wish I didn't have all this ammo on me. It's too heavy. No, they would think themselves that they're stupid just for saying that. The truth of the matter is that the capacity you get is phenomenal itself. And that's one of the things that makes the 9mm stand out the most. Now, another thing that makes it stand out that a lot of people, they seem to kind of forget about. And I'm saying this right now, we are in late May 2024. So let me stress this right now. In Did I say late May? Jesus Christ, I'm stupid. Sorry, guys. Late April, almost May. I was going to say early May, but I was like, wait a minute, we're still in April. Sorry, guys. It's been one of those nights, as you can imagine. But regardless, I'm always having one of those nights. You know what I mean? But regardless, we're in late April 2024. Soon to be May. However, it is election year. As you guys know, ammo prices will probably be skyrocketing as we get more towards November. 9mm right now is at a pretty solid price. I can tell you this right now. If you go on companies like, for example, PSA, you can get, even if you don't want to spend a lot of money, you can get 100 rounds of 9mm for $25. That's a great deal. Great deal. You can get 1,000 rounds for about $250-ish. Great deal, once again. So just realize, guys, that 9mm is not only very common, it's very popular, it's widely available, but it's not super expensive either. And that's where I feel it gives it a bit more of an edge than calibers like, for example, the 40 Smith & Wesson, the 45 ACP. Even if we're gonna, go down to like the 380 ACP, you know what I mean? It has a much wider, I guess, wider. I don't know the best. The only word that comes to mind for some reason is audience, but I know that's not what it is. Obviously, it just has a much wider, I guess consumer base is a better way to say it. There we are. The demand for it is much higher than a majority of other calibers, so it's going to get made a lot more. Now, another thing I want to point out, and this kind of goes along with what I was saying before about the popularity of the caliber. However, this is also a caliber that is used by a majority of police departments for their handguns. So if I'm not the person to say if it's good enough for the military or it's good enough for the police, it's good enough for you, because I believe we should have everything they have and more if we want to. However, what I can say is simply I've seen enough videos of law enforcement with the correct 9mm ammunition, which is usually Spear Gold Dot, Hornady Critical Defense, some Sig V Crown ammo. You got Hornady American Gunners. I'm literally listing off the types of ammo you guys can use that will function perfectly in a majority of firearms. The only firearms they usually don't are already finicky firearms. However, I'm giving you guys options of ammo that would be great ammo to go along with this. My whole point is simply that using the caliber that law enforcement uses, one, will probably help you in a court of law if some situation ever happens. Now, of course, that's a very arbitrary thing that most likely will not be brought up in court. Let me stress that right now. It is arbitrary. However, we are in 2024, and in a lot of states, they are trying to take people's gun rights away. So we do have to be careful of that. They might be like, oh, you use such a big caliber, it's going to, who knows? All right. It is something that can happen. However, it's an extremely arbitrary thing. And if you have any knowledge on firearms, you would know that it's a stupid thing to say unless we're reaching a certain level. But my whole point is simply that you have a lot of pros with 9mm and very few cons. You have a wide variety of ammunition that you can get from a wide variety of companies. Several different weight options you can get, usually spanning from 115 to 124 to 145 grain. You get a good capacity with it. You get a lot out of it. That's the whole point I'm trying to get at here. I think that's the best way to wrap up what I'm saying as a whole. Is that the reason why I believe 9mm is the best handgun caliber is because you get a lot out of it. You get the popularity of it, all right? Because the truth of the matter is, with how commonly available it is, you can't. The only way you're going to go into a gun store and not find 9mm is if we relive the 2021 ammo shortage. That's just the truth of the matter here. You can go in any gun store and get a 9mm. You can go in any gun store and find 9mm hollow points. It's, as I said, very, very, very popular. A majority of handguns that you find are in 9mm. And last but not least, something I do want to leave, because a lot of people are going to, argue with me on the next video as well, because the next video I'm doing is least reliable handgun caliber. But regardless, 9mm is also pretty damn low recoil depending on the gun size you choose. Of course, if you get something like a Glock 43, it's going to be a bit snappier or whatever. You know what I mean? That's to be expected. That's how physics works. However, it is a low recoil caliber for the capacity you get, the stopping power you get, for everything you get with this caliber. I mean, there's no reason why you can't agree with me, in my opinion. However, everybody has their own opinion. Go ahead and comment down below what you think the best handgun caliber out there is as a whole and why. With that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you agree with me, even if you don't agree with me, make sure to check out all my other videos, but especially if you do agree with me that 9mm is the best handgun caliber, make sure to check out all my other videos as well. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.